So thanks for joining. Sorry for the delay. So let's get started with. So in our today's session, we are going to talk about user management. Now, any members are new members today who joined online or in the class? Okay. So let's get started with the user management. So let's go with that. What is a user? Okay. So it is an entity which will consume system resources. Okay, so the resources like CPU, RAM, storage, network, and so on. Okay, now when we create a user or when we are working with the user, you will allocate some resources to a specific user. Let's say a disk space. I say we will give a 5 GB of disk quota. When you go to the Gmail account, you are creating your own user and you will get allocated a quota, which is the 5 GB of quota. Or you will have a limit on number of emails you can send out in a particular day. Let's say you can send, if you have a free account, you can send, let's say 1,000 emails, not more than that. So this kind of limitations, this kind of allocations, we can do on a given user. That's why we need a user. So we can control the resources in a better manner. We can distribute the resources in the better manner. Now, what are the different users in the Linux? So you have three types of user. First is the system user, which is like a root user or admin user or something like that. You have application user, such as Tomcat, Nexus, Apache. You have a normal user, right? Ramesh, John, Ali, and so on. So you have different users because they fundamentally they are used for different purpose. So root or admin or system users are used to manage the system. They have a little bit higher privileges. They have a little bit higher control on the system, and you can go with that. Pardon? So they will do the administration like creating users or adding this quota or limiting some resources. They can control the system in much better way. Okay. When you are going with that, you have two users, normal user, admin user. So admin user can create another user. Normal user cannot create other user. So that type of difference is available in these type of users. So when you are installing some application, you will have the specific users because you want to restrict the resource to that specific users. Let's say how much CPU, how much RAM, how much the disk you want to go with that. So these are the different users available in the system. Now, how to identify these are different users? So it's very easy. So if you go with the system users, it will have a user ID. So I'll say this is the type of user and this is the identification UID. It is like a Aadhaar card. It's like a Aadhaar card. That means you have a specific number. So it starts from 0 to 99. So if I go with the CentOS operating system or Red Hat operating system 6.x version, I will go with the different numbers. So you have your Aadhaar card. You have your unique number there, which is 0 to 99. If it goes with the application user, then start from 100 to 500. Here it will go from 100 to 999. If you go with the normal user, then your identification number is starting from, this is a 499. I will make a correction. And here is from 500 to 60,000. So you can create 60,000 users. And from here, you can have 1,000 to 60,000 plus. You can go even higher range, no problem with that. So different operating system may have different range of users and their number is given. So this is called as like a unique number given to a user. Like you have, everybody has an Aadhaar number. It is a unique number. It is a unique number. Like that, in the system, a user always get one number, and which is a unique. That number is not given to any other user there. And in user management, we are going to learn those things. So what is the user management? So it is first creation or creating users, modifying existing users, and removing unwanted users. Okay. This is need to be done by admin, and you as a DevOps engineer are admin of this machine. So you have to do that, all these things. Okay. So you will create some users, you will modify the users if needed, and you will remove if you don't want that users. So we'll see what commands and all, how to do that in our this sessions. So let's go and see that what are the different things available with the user management part. So what are the important files during user management? So you will have etc password file. It will store user information. Second is etc shadow. You will store the user password and age information. Then you will go with the etc group file. Here it will store the user group information. So these are the three important files as far as the user management is concerned. So you have to play around with these three files. You have to play around with these three files. If you go for the Windows operating system, if you create an admin user or some other user, you will store the user password, but Windows will never tell you in which file it has stored the password. But in Linux, everything is open. You know that in which file you are storing the password. In this case, we are storing the password in the etc shadow file. So these are the file names, okay? These are the file names along with the path. That means here you see that there is a directory called as etc directory. Inside that etc directory, you have this file called as a password file. Inside that etc directory, you have the shadow file. Inside the etc directory, you have group file, and you will store the information about those users in this particular file. Now, what is a group? It is a collection of users with common purpose. For example, you may have marketing group, you have sales group, you may have finance group, and so on. So what you will do, you will put all the necessary users in this particular group so that they can have a common goal, they can work with the common files. You can go along with that. Okay. Now, what are the important commands? We will see that. We are going with that. Okay, so any questions? Somebody has a question in Linux openly showing the password file. Is there any risk in terms of security? Even though the file is open, the password is not open. We will see that. Don't worry about that. Definitely, it is a protected, so you don't have to much worry about how the password is get stored. We will learn all those things. Now, what are the important commands? So, number one command, we will go with the user add to create new user, user mod. You will go with this command. You will say to update existing user, user delete, to delete, to remove existing user. Group add, same thing, to add new group. You will say group mod, you will modify the existing group. Then you will go with the group del, that is a delete the group. Okay, now how to set the password? So we'll say password is a command to reset any user password. So we will learn how to do that, but just write it down as a series, whatever the commands are there. Then you'll say, who am I? To get information about which user you are logged in. Okay. Then you will say SU, which is a switch user, to switch from one user to other user. Then you will say sudo to get temporary privileges, root user access, root user level access. Then you will say chh. You will go with that. You will say to update, to see or update user age information. Okay, then you will go with the ID, which says to get the identification of a user. Vi sudo to give to enable necessary sudo group. You will understand what is a sudo group. Don't worry about that. Okay. So these are the very important commands which are available for the user management. Now with these commands, you can control the users, their access, their levels, and so on. And you can go along with that. Then you have some important files. You'll have user profile. You'll say it's a dot profile, bash profile. This is the file. This file will have initial configuration for user. User home directory /home/username. Normal user home directory /root is a super user root directory. Super user /root user home directory. Okay. So these are the important directories available for you to go along with that. So once you've done the writing, let me know. We can go and do the further things. So when you are doing a user management, you should know these files, you should know these commands in a better manner, because you can control the user in a more better way. Okay. Now we talked about 3 important files, which is the etc password, etc shadow, and etc group files. So let's go and start working deep down in each file, and then we will deep down go with the each command. We will go one by one, step by step. Every command, every file we will study. So first file is the etc password file. What is that password file? It will store the user information. What information? The format is, it is a colon separated file. That means first it will have user name, it will have a dummy password like X, and it will have user ID, group ID, then it has a text field, it will have the home directory, and then it will go with the shell. Okay, so let's understand. Username. So you can give any name to user here. X is the second field, which is a dummy password field. which is used in the olden days. Now nobody is using that. Old style, old days. Okay, so it is not used now, but it is there. Now UID we know already understand. Unique identification number for a user. GID, what is that? Group ID, unique group identification number for a user. Text field can add more info for user in this field. Then you have home directory. What is that home directory? Normally for a normal user, the home directory /home/username. Okay, but it can be anything. But for a normal user, it is home. So all the user related files are stored here. Okay, then shell. So shell is a program. It is a small program which will help you to interact with operating system. So there are various types of shell. You'll say bin sh shell, which is the Marine shell, or you have bash shell. We are going to use this, okay, the star mark. This is the Marine advanced shell, and so on. So there are a lot of shells are available. We will go into deep in the shell scripting. At this moment, this is more than sufficient to understand. You have the username, you have the old style password, dummy password, user ID, group ID, text field, home directory, and stuff. So exactly there should be 7 fields should be available here. This is the number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, and number 7. Okay, so these are the 7 different fields available in the user section. So you have a lot of information about the user, and it can go along with that. So yesterday we created a system. Let's start this system. Let me start and then give me a second. Yeah, I'm going to give full time that you can write. Don't worry about that. I'm not running away. So give me a second. I'm starting a system. Okay, write it down. Okay, so these are the important fields available in the password file. Now, why it is important for you to understand? Because somebody says, hey, I don't want the Marine shell, I want something different shell. So you should know where to go and do the exact change, or where the change is reflected. You will easily able to know that. So that it will help you to understand where to do what change. It will give you full control that which thing you want to identify and which thing you want to change. So done writing? So you have to by heart this information, because in interview they can ask, hey, what is the 5th field? They can ask, what is the 7th field? So you should be able to tell them saying that, because you are going to have the experience of 2+ years. And at least then they are expecting you should know this information, right? If you are a new member, if you forget, no problem. But if you want to showcase some experience as a real-time experience, then you should by heart this information there. Okay. So let me go and to see the system. Okay, so we are here. So let me log in with the root user. Root user means a super user. I will log in as an admin user into the system. I will set the username and password. I logged into the system there. Now, the people at the back, can you see the screen? Can you see the screen? Right, okay. Yes, your question? Yes, so login where you will type the username. Like when you go in Windows, what do? You select the user, right, with the mouse? Yes or no? If you're not selecting, then create a user and see that you will have the selection available for you, that how you will select the users. So you can go to that particular user, click on that. Here you have to type the username. Here you have to type the username. By default, the admin username is root. By default, the admin username is root. So you'll go with that and you'll log into the system there. Now, once you log into the system, you want to see the file. Which file? Password file. So how to see a file? You will use the command called as a cat. Now, cat is a command used to see the file content. Which file content? Text file content. Basic purpose of cat is different, but we are going to use give the cat. It is a command to see the file content. It means what is inside the file. I can see that. I can see that easily. Okay. So let's go and see that. I'll say cat. Which file I want to see? Password file. So I'll say go to the etc directory and go to the password file and show me the password file. So if I say cat, it will give all the information. It will give all the information about the details. Now you see that the root x00 root bash. What is that? So root means the username, x means is the dummy password. This is the user ID. This is the group ID. This is the root text field. This is the home directory for the root user. This is the shell for the root user. So this is how the information is distributed and shared in the file there. Okay. Similarly, your password will go into some different file. Okay. So in which file the password will go? Your password will go into the shadow file. So we will see all the information. Okay. So second file is which file? Shadow file, because we want to get the details of the shadow file. So what is that inside the shadow file? So let's go and see. Again, I'll use the cat command. I'll clear the screen. Clear is the command to clear the screen. In the Windows, what is the command? CLS. So in the Windows, you will type CLS. In Linux, you will type clear. So I'll go with the clear. So I'll show you that what is in Windows. So I'll go with the, this is what is the command you have. This is the shell. If I say dir, if I say CLS, it will clear the screen. Same thing effect. You will go with the Linux and you have to say clear. So if I say ls, you say clear. Clear means clear the screen. Okay. Now I want to see the shadow file. I'll say cat etc shadow. Here we go. So this is our shadow file. Now let's understand what is that shadow file means. Let's write it down. So first is the username. Second is the password from the $6. You can see here from $6 to h/. This is your password. From $6 to JH/. This is your password. This is the encrypted password. This is what? Encrypted password. Then what do you have? You have the password change period. Then you will have the expiry. You will have that how frequently the user can change the password. What is the expiry days? How much after how many days the password will expire? 99999 days. Means logically it will never going to expire. Warning period 7 days. Okay. Grace period and the account locking period. So let's go and see and write down all these details, because with that we will able to understand whole thing available. So first is the username. Then you will have the encrypted password as a second field. Then third is the last pass change. Fourth is the period of frequency, password frequency change. Or we can say change frequency. Okay, then you will say password expiry, days, number of days. Then you will go with the grace period and then account expiry. So these are the fields available there. Username, password encryption, last password, frequency of change, password expiry period, grace period, 7 account expiry. Did we miss anything? Let's go and see that. So user password, that is correct. Then we have the last password change. Then we have the grace period, password frequency, correct. 999. Warning period, we missed that. So after grace, we have the warning period. Okay. So let's go here. So we'll have the warning. So sixth field is the warning. So we'll go with that. 6, 7, and 8. We'll go with that. Okay. So these are the fields available in the field. So number 1 is username. Okay. Then encrypt and password. What is that? So basically, this is encrypted password. Now, what is mean by encryption? Encryption means it will run one program and it will scramble down your password. That means it will modify your password and save that password in that position. Why? Because if hacker hacks the system, if he see these files, your password is this file, is this password, but he will not able to understand your password, what you typed, because it is in the encrypted form. Now there are various programs to do the encryption there. MD5 encryption, SHA encryption, SHA-512 encryption. So we are using this encryption, latest and strong. So this is the very strong encryption currently you are using to scramble the password, to generate the password. Okay. Then number 3 is the last password change. So it's the date on which the last password got changed. Then you have password expiry period. By default, it is what? It is a 99999 days. But in real time, you have to set it to 60 days. So the password will get expired in how many days? 60 days. Then you will have the warning period. Warning period is by default 7 days. Warning period is what? 7 days. That means on the 53rd day, the user will get information. Hey, your password is going to expire. Please change the password. That information you will go with the warning days. Okay, so you'll get the warning saying that your password is going to change at that. It will lock. If you have not changed the password, it will lock the user. Okay. If you have not changed the password, it will lock the user and you will not able to log into the system. So in real time, you will have the process to reset the password. What? First, you have to go to your manager saying that, sorry, I missed the change my password, but I will not do it again. And then you'll get the ticket and then you will reset someone admin will reset your password. If you did a second time, then manager will not able to help you. You have to go to the director or VP. Then they will ask question, why you did on the second time? Why you are missing your password? So be sensitive with that password change. This password change is very important because it is related with the security of your organization. One weak password can break your organization's security. That is why you are going to go with this system. You have to, every 60 days, the user has to change his password. If he has not changed the password, the account will get locked. Now, grace period. By default, is 0 days, but in real time, you will give 2 days of grace period. Why? Because IT works for 5 days, 5 days working, right? Now, if the user is going on the holiday or leave, so he will go on Friday. So Saturday, Sunday, again Monday to Friday, plus Saturday, Sunday, 9 days. So if your warning period will go and expire in that period. So to extend that, you will give a 2 days grace period. That means even the employee goes for 7 days or 10 days or 9 days, whatever the days he is going for the leave, you will have its password part. Okay. So it is going with that. So that is the grace period. And account expiry. Now this is done when your account is a contractor. If the user is contractor, you will give the expiry date. Let's say today's date is what? September 15. So let's say October 31st, the user is going to expire. So you can set, hey, on 31st of October, the user will get expire. Something like that. You can give a date. So automatically on October 1st, or sorry, November 1st, the user will get locked. Automatically, the user will get locked on the November 1st. So you can set this automatic. You can do that. So we will see how to do that. Okay, don't worry. So account expiry date is the expiry date of the user that you will set it for the contractor user. So if you want to lock the user because his contract is going to end on the 31st of October, you will put that date, which date you want to lock his account. After that day, if the user logs in, he will not able to log in because his account is expired. His account is got locked. That is the date you can set on which date you want to lock his account. Is clear? Okay. So that's how we will able to see the stuff. Now let's go and see the actual commands to go and work with that. So let's go and do. So I'll go and I'll create a user. I'll create a user DevOps. Okay. So which command we have to use? User add. So user add space the username DevOps. So give the space in between. Don't say user add and DevOps. If you say like this, it will not understand which is the user, which is the command. You need to understand. So give this user add space username. Now Linux has its own fundamental. What? If everything is working correctly, no message will on the screen. No message on the screen. So Linux love to work in silent mode. So if you have a series of 100 commands, and if those 100 commands work successfully, no message will be on the screen. Because if success, no message on the screen. That is a simple fundamental Linux will follow. Once I go and create the user, once I press enter, it will create the user. It will create the user. Let's go and check that user is in the password file. You have to see the last line. So what is the last line here? SSHD. So username is not there. You check the shadow file. You have to check the last line. What is the last line? SSHD. So now what we will do, we will create the user and automatically the entries will go into this file. Automatically the entries will go in this file. So I'll say user add DevOps. Ready, steady, go. 1, 2, and 3. See that? No output. Everything works in silent. That means the user got successfully. But if I try to run the command, same command again, then it will complain. Let's see what is the complaint. Sorry, the DevOps user already exists. I cannot add the user again. Right? So this is what I'm talking about. So if everything works good, no message output. But if something is wrong, definitely it will tell you, hey, there is a wrong. There is something wrong. This is clear? Okay, now let's go and see the password file. Cat etc password file. So what is the last line now? We have added new user. Username is DevOps. What is the user ID? 1000. What is the group ID? 1000. What is the home directory? Home DevOps. What is the shell? Bash. So this is how user add will add the entry in this file. Again, go with the shadow file. Ready, steady, go. Here we go. What is the last line? DevOps. What is the password? Double exclamation mark. Now this double exclamation mark has a special meaning. Double exclamation mark indicates the user doesn't have any password. What is that? The user doesn't have any password. That is the meaning of that double exclamation mark. Is clear? Then all the default values are there. Okay, now let's go and set the password. Let's go and set the password. What is the command to set the password? Password, PASSWD. Okay, and the username. What is the username? So I'll go with that. So I'll say password and the DevOps username. Okay. So now what it will do? It will set the password. Let's go 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Now I'm changing the password for user DevOps. What password you want to give? So I'll give my password. I'll give that. So if you type the wrong password, what it will say? Password mismatch. Do not match. The two passwords should match. So again, I will go. Yes, I have given some password. I have given some password. Now, what password? I don't know. Means I know, but you don't know. So we will go with again with the shadow file. Ready, steady, go. Now we should see that password entry in that shadow file. Instead of double banged, we have to see something different. 1, 2, and 3. What you are able to see? You see the encrypted password. So one of the question came online. If the password is stored in the file, is it a security risk? Yes and no. Means it is, there is no security risk because your password is not stored in the plain text file. It is in encrypted form. It is in encrypted form. So this is clear. How to set up the password? Now when you set up the password, automatically it will put the entry in the shadow file. In which file it will show the entry? Shadow file. So that is your password. Now somebody say, hey, you are the administrator. Can you tell me my password? I forget my password. So you have to give answer. Even I cannot see my password, but I can reset my password. I can reset my password. That means, suppose somebody comes user to you saying that, hey, please tell me my password. You should say, sorry, I cannot tell your password because I also don't know, but I can reset your password. I can reset your password. So you can only reset the password. You cannot see the password. This is clear? This is clear? Pardon? Yes. So because Linux is open source, it is everything open, no secrets, right? Yeah, there are a lot of benefits are there because a lot of programmers will watch this. If any bug, any problem, any enhancement is needed, they will fix it with the help of all this openness. Not with this password, but openness. Nobody can see this password. I cannot regenerate the password from this password. I have created the password because there was no password. It was double bang, right? So double bang means what? It is a, now how to reset the password? Same command I will give as a password and the username. But this time I will change the password. Now what is the last line? D0 U something something, right? Let's change the password. Now this time I will give the different password. I'll type different password. Here we go. Here we go. Now if I say cat, and I will say this time different thing. I'll say grep. I'll tell you what is that grep. So I'll see only grep is what? Filter out. It is a filter the output. So instead of seeing all 100 lines, I'm just seeing that one line, which is the line, the DevOps. I'm taking the filter out and I'm getting the line there. Now, what is the password? Do you see the difference? That means I have changed my password. If you are able to see the difference, I have changed my password there. Pardon? Command is same, yes. Because you cannot see the password. You can set or reset. Command is same. There is no separate command to set and reset. Command is same. Okay, but for normal user, it is a different case. This is for the admin user. We will see the normal user once we go in the normal user. Okay, this is clear? Good. So now you have set the password. Now let's go and create another user. Let's go and create another user. So I will create another user. What is the command? User add, and what is the username? I will say user01. I will go with the user01. I will set the password for user01. So I'm setting the password for user01. Is clear? If I say cat etc password, what you will see now, last two lines? One is the DevOps user and another user is user01. Just now created the second user, right? But you see that the number got incremented automatically. First it was 1000 and now it is 1001. Okay, I will go to the shadow file. Now what is that shadow file says? You have two users. One is the DevOps user and one is the user01. Now we will go with the command. Okay, I will go with the command who am I. So I'll say who am I. So what it is telling, who am I? I am the root user. Now I can change myself to different user. So there is a command called as a switch user. Pardon? It's a different password. It will see a different string. It will not be a same string. It will be different. For every password is a different thing. Even one user type the same password as second user, the encrypted or the encryption is different. Encryption is different. It will not be the same. Okay, that's the beauty of the encryption. That even you type the same password, you will not get the same result. So it will follow a different mechanism. Okay. Now I want to switch the user. I want to become a different user. What to do? I'll use the command switch user. So I'll say su. Pardon? It knows how to do that. So that is a command we have to use to identify. Even I also don't know how to do inside that it will do that. Right? So we have to get the result. If you have to type, you should get the result. If you are expected result, we are good. Yes, that is what I get the root. But if I am a different user, let's see that. So I am changing myself to a different user. Which user now I'll change? Switch user to user01. Now I am changing myself to a user01. Ready, steady, go. Shall I change? 1, 2, and 3. Now you see the change. Previously it was a hash. It was a hash because it's the root user. Now it's a dollar. You see the dollar? Now it is a normal user. But who am I? I don't know. I say, who am I? I am the user01. So it will identify you are which user. It will tell you which is your which user. This clear? Now I have to come out with the user. I will say exit. Again, I will become a root user. Now again, I want to become a DevOps user. How to do that? Su DevOps. Now again, I will say, who am I? I am a DevOps user now. So I'm changing myself to a different users. Okay. Now, yes. User01, one is a root user, one is a system user. There are hundreds of users there in the password file. You see that? These are all user list. All are the predefined users. Yes. Admin user will be automatically available there. You don't have to create admin user. It will automatically, when it is operating system is get installed, automatically it will create some users there. Okay. Which entries are available in the etc password. Okay. Who am I? DevOps. Now I want to become user01. So I'll say user01. Ready, steady, go. But now this time it will ask me the password. From root user, if you want to convert to other user, no password will be asked. But from a normal user to another normal user, if you want to change, it will ask the password. Now, which user password is asking? User01 password. So I'll give the user01 password. I'll say, who am I now? This clear? Now I will change the password for user01. If I say, what is the command to change the password? Or what is the command to set the password? PASSWD and the username. Now interesting thing happens. If you give that, it will complain to you saying that sorry, you cannot use the username there. Only root is allowed to use the username. So what you will do? You will say password. That's all. You will say basically, when you want to change the password of the user, you will give this command. But if you are a normal user, you cannot give the username there. You don't have to give the username there. You have to just say PASSWD and press enter. So now it will go and check the protection, saying that, hey, give me the current password. Whose password? User one password. So I'll give the current password. Okay, then only it will allow me to change the new password. So it is like your bank system. In the bank, when you want to change the password, it will ask you the old password. Then you will ask for the new password. Yes or no? Same thing is available here. Same thing. I'll give the new password. Okay. I'll change the password. Any question? Yes. Not root password. It is asking your user 01 password. It will never ask the root password because nobody knows in the organization what is the root password. Yes, then I change it to myself to DevOps user. From the DevOps user, I change myself to user 01 user. And now I am changing the user 01 password. Okay. I am changing the user 01 password. So how to do that? You have to plainly type PASSWD and enter. Then you have to give the current username password, user 01 current password, and then you have to type the new password. Is clear? Any question, any doubt? Yes, I can say just exit. Now who am I? I am now DevOps. I will say exit. Who am I? I am the root user. I can switch back. No problem. Going and coming is easy. Now you don't have to be Abhimanyu, right? Well, you know Abhimanyu, what is that? He knows how to go inside, but he doesn't know how to come outside. But in this case, the facility is given. You just type exit, you'll come out with that. Okay? So you can change yourself to any users as a root user. But if you want to change yourself to a different user from one normal user to another normal user, it will ask the password. It will ask the password. This is clear? Any question, any doubt? Yes, yes, you can also go back. Reverse way. You're talking in reverse way. From root to normal user, if you have to go, no password is needed. From normal user, if you want to become a root, you have to give the root password. Yes. So if you know the root password, you can do that, right? You are the admin. You are not normal user. So don't think you are a normal person. Think as admin. So admin have the necessary credentials. Normal user will not have that credentials. No. Again, you are getting the confusion. Why you are making the confusion? I don't know. From root user as an admin user, you can change to normal user. But from normal user, if you want to change to any other user, you have to give the password. Okay? Not root password. Why you are saying root password? Any user you can change, right? Okay, I will again explain you. If I want to change to a DevOps user, I will not give the password because who am I currently? Who am I? I am the root user. Now I want to go to the DevOps. I'll say, did I give the password? Did I give the password? No. Now from this DevOps user, I want to change to some other user. I 100% have to give the password. There are two ways you can change yourself to root. Either you can type exit or you can say su and root. This is also one of the method. You can go with the root. Then you have to give the root password. Right? If you know the root password, you have to give the root password. But if I type exit, I don't have to give root password because already from root I have converted in myself into. Is clear? Okay. So this is what is the switch user we are doing with that. Okay. So what is the command? Next command. So we talked about password. We talked about who am I. We talked about SU. Let's go and talk about CHH. I will also talk about sudo in a moment. Let's go with the CHH. Okay. Now what is the CH age? Basically, it is manage the user age information. So I will go with that. I will say that cat etc shadow, and I will use grep. Grep means filter out the for user 01. So it is giving. Pardon? Grep is used to filter the output. I will explain you. Give me a minute. Okay. So what we are doing? So let's understand the grep first. Okay. Now when you go with the shadow file, how many lines we have? Maybe 10, 20, 100 lines. How many lines in the file are there? Now you want to pick up one line. You want to pick up one line out of that, which is matching with the user 01, which is matching with the user 01. So I will use the same command, but we'll do the grep. And grep means filter the output with the specific word. So I'll go with that pattern, user 01. So now instead of showing me 100 lines, it will only show me the line which is matching with that word. It will only show the lines which is matching with the word, which is the user 01. So what is the cat command used for? We have written down what is the cat. Where is that what is the cat? Yeah, see on the screen. So what is the cat command? Cat is used to see the text file content. That means what is inside that file, I want to see that. So what is inside the shadow file, I want to see that. So I am going with that. So it is showing me all the lines in my shadow files. From that lines, I want to pick up one line. I'll say grep user 01. So probably I believe that we need to have another class. See, what is the shadow? We have already written here. What is the shadow file? Right? What is the shadow file? The file which contains the user password, encryption, last change, all the information is there in the shadow file. Now, if again the question comes, what is the shadow? Then there is a problem. Right? Or it is given there. So what is the shadow? So shadow, it is a file under which you have the user information, age information, and the password information. Okay. So from that, you are picking up only one user, which is the user 01. Now let's go and change the age information for this user. Okay. So what the command? I will say ch age and the username. I will say user 01. Ch age and the user 01. So I'll go and I'll press enter. Now it says that, hey, minimum password age. That means how frequently the user can change his password. So we are saying 0. By default, his value is 0. 0 means what? He can change the password every 5 minutes also. No problem with that. But if I press 1, then user can change his password only after 24 hours. Only after 1 day. He can change his password after 1 day. So by default, we will keep as it is the 0. Because we want to change user, we want allow user to change as frequently as no problem. Change the password, no problem. So we'll allow the user to change the password. Maximum password age, what is the date? 99999. So what is that? And in real time, what value you should have? 60 days. So I'll put the 60 days. So this user must change his password every 60 days. Last password date change. So today only we have set the password. That's why it is saying 2017 September 15. So we'll keep as it is. Password expiration warning. How many days the user have warning? How many days the user have warning? Early warning? 7 days early. That means on the 53rd day, the user will get the warning saying that, hey, your password is going to expire in next 7 days. Please reset your password. Okay, once the user logs in, he will get the message saying that, hey, your password is going to expire. Please log in and change the password. Okay. Password inactive, that is the grace period. By default, there is a no grace period, but we will give 2 days grace period. So we'll go with that. Account expiration date, this we talked about. If the contractor user is there, I want to terminate his account on October 31st. So I'll say 2017, October 31st. Means on that day, midnight, that is a November 1st, the user account will be locked. It will automatically lock the user account at that particular date. So this is the last date we have. Hmm. No, I didn't get your question. See, if the user contract is going to expire on 31st, I will give the 31st. I will not wait for his password to change, right? This is not password set date. This is the account expiry date. It depends on you. It depends on you. How long, if the user has a contract of 1 year, then you can say here, okay, 2018, 10, 31st. It depends on the user contract that what date you want to set. I'm just, pardon? It depends on you. That's what I'm saying. It depends on the organization, how long the user has a contract with the organization. That last date you have to put there. That's all. The user last working day you have to put in the system. So after that day, user will no longer will allow to log in. Simple. Okay, the account will get expire. So I'll give that 17. You can give any date. You can go along with that. Okay, so 31st. Okay, I'm giving just sample date. You can give any date. Now don't give back date. Right? You don't ask me that can I give 2016? Sorry, you cannot do that. You have to go with the next date. So we'll go and you'll set that. Now again, I will go in the shadow file and check that. Now you see the difference between these two lines. You see this difference between this line and this line. You have to check that. What is the difference? You see that the 999 has been replaced with 60. Grace period is remain same. Sorry, we have added 2 days grace period here and the expiry date. Now this expiry date is in encrypted form. It is not directly visible. So how you can see? You have to say ch-L. L means long listing, and you have to say user 01. So you'll go with that, and you'll get all the user details. Hey, what is the password expiry? When is inactive? When is the account is going to expire? What is the minimum period? What is the maximum period? All the details you will get there. So please write down this command. It is important. ch-L user 01. This clear? So this is how you will work with the CHA. CHH-L user 01. Whatever username you want to give, you can put here username. That is the syntax of the command. Any username, whatever username is there, you can put that username. So this is clear? So that is what is the CHH. Pardon? Mm-hmm. Password reset for every 15 seconds. Then that is a crappy VPN. Why do ask change the password every 15 minutes? Is there any reason that you have to change the password for every 15 minutes? Come on. If you go to the bank and if you log into the bank site and bank is asking change your password every 15 minutes. Yes, did your bank is asked re-enter the password every time? If it is doing that, it is a crappy of the application, right? You should not ask the user. Your user will get irritated and he will run away from the system. He will never come to that system again. If your bank is asking re-enter the password every 15 minutes, then there is a problem. Then there is a problem. Don't do that. Even it is possible, I will say, don't do that. Okay, how can we change the expiration date once it's fixed? Okay, so you can use the same command. You can use the same command. Okay, I will change the expiry date now again. I'll go to the user ch age change. I'll go with the enter. I'll last expiry date, right? So you can go at the last column and you can change. Okay, now it is 2000 December. So next day 2017 12 December 31st. Do that. That's all. Right? So you have to use the same command to change the date. So what is happened? If the contract got extended, you can go and change the date there. Simple. Right? If the contract got extended, you can again give the same command and just change the date. That's all. Everything will remain same. Everything will remain same. Only the date will get changed. Right? Pardon? So question is, if the user contract is got extended, how to change the date? Just now I have showed. Use the same command, right? And they change the date, that's all. Here we go. Here we'll go. Now what date you want? Put that date. Done. 1st December, no problem. So 2017, 12/01, okay? Done. It is a field. You have to take whatever field you want, you can put there. It's depend on the organization what they want to put the contract. See, basically you are an administrator. What organization says, you have to do that. You cannot put any date there. Organization says his last working day is December 31st, you have to put that. Don't apply your logic there. Otherwise, then they will throw you as organization, right? So go with that. Okay, so we talked about CH age. Okay, let's go with the next. So hopefully it answer your question there. Another question online. Okay, what is that? Okay, that is some other message. Okay, so how we can change the expiry date once fixed? So Sumita, you got the answer right. Sindhuja, you also got the answer there. Not sure if the NY technical diff go on this. I am not sure. Okay, fine. So any other question? Any other question with the CH age? Shall I go further?
What is CH
and CH age -L will show the list. List will show the information, and CH age will set the information. Okay. So one is for setting the information, one is for getting the information. Okay. So what is the next command? What is the next command? Okay, we'll go with the ID command. Then we will go with the sudo and vi sudo. Okay. Let's go with the ID command. So ID command is used to identify the user is present in the system or not. What is the use of ID command? It is used to check the user is present or not. Let's say example, ID DevOps. Is the user present or not? ID DevOps. Is user is present? Yes or no? Yes, it is present. But if I say ID user 03, did we created this user? No. So it should say that no such user. So this is the command to identify the user is present or not. Simple. Whatever information shows, we don't care about that at this time of now. We are interested that the user is present or not. Simple. So if the ID username, if it says yes, the user is there. If it says no such user, then the user is not there. User is not there. This is clear? Any other questions we have with the ID? So ID is very simple. I say ID root, ID DevOps, ID user01, all these yes, yes, yes. But if I say ID Apache, I don't see that, right? So that is user is not there. Clear? So ID is command is used to identify the user is present or okay. Now let's go to the sudo. So sudo is an important concept. So let's put something there. What is sudo? It is a facility. So you can delegate root level privileges access to a normal user. What is a sudo? Sudo, it is a facility. So you can delegate root level access to a normal user. That means in a simple language, you can say convert normal user to root user level. Yes, it is to like make an admin. Create that user a admin user. Create a normal user a admin user. Now in real time, you will always use sudo. You will never log in with the root because you don't know root password. But you will always work with the sudo. And whenever you want a root access, you will go with the sudo access. You will see that in example. Okay. Now what you have to do, you have to enable the root level access. So for that, you need to modify one file. Okay. So what the command you will say? You will say vi sudo. You will go with the command vi sudo. So it will open one file for you. You have to search the word for wheel. You have to say /wheel. So what this will do? It will say search for word wheel. Then you will see something line called as a hash %wheel. So you have to remove the hash. Remove the hash mark. So after that, what it will do? It will become. So how to remove that? By press X. When cursor is on hash. Then save and exit. You have to say WQ. Save and exit. So basically what you are doing with this command, you are enabling a sudo group, which is a wheel group. Okay, so what we are doing? We are enabling a wheel group for sudo access. With this command, what we are doing? We are enabling a wheel group for sudo access. So ready, steady, go. Shall we see the practical? Here we go. Now which command we have to give? Vi sudo. Now there is no space or something. It is one word. Vi sudo. It will open one file for you. 1, 2, and 3. So it has opened one file. Now you have to search the word wheel. How will you search the word? / So your cursor will automatically go down and you will say wheel and press enter. So you'll go to the wheel word. So you make the cursor here. So by default, in your case, if you install the operating system, it may be having a hash mark or it may not having a hash mark, right? So sometimes you will see the hash mark here, something like that. So what you have to do, you have to delete that hash mark by pressing X. But if there is no hash mark, you are already set. If there is a no hash mark, you are already set. You will just come out of the file if it is already set. Don't disturb anything. Okay? But if it is a hash mark, you have to delete that hash mark and then you have to save and exit. So I'll save and exit. Done. So I came out. So what I did, I enabled the wheel group. Okay. Now what we have to do, we have to add the DevOps user and we have to give the power of super user to a DevOps user. So how to give that? Add a user to a wheel group to make him a super user or a root user. So what is the command for that? So you will give the command user mod. You will modify the user. You'll say -a, capital G, which group? So you have to say group name and the username. So this is the syntax. So you have to, what is -a? -a is for append. Okay, append the group. -g is for group. And so you'll say user mod, -a, -g, capital G, and which group? Wheel group, and the username. So suppose the user is already added in 10 groups. If you are not given that -append, it will remove the user from those 10 groups and it will add the user in this new group. But if I say append, it will keep the user in those 10 groups, plus it will make this user available in the 11th group. So keep the existing group as it is, don't disturb that. That is what we are saying. So I will say, do not disturb current groups. That is what I'm saying. Append means what? Do not disturb the current groups for the users, for that user. And what is the command? User mod -a, -g, and the wheel and the DevOps. Is clear? So let's go and give that command. So I'll say user mod -a, capital G, wheel. But before that I want to show ID DevOps. Now see at the last column, how many groups the user is having? Only one group, right? Excuse me, sorry. So now you will add the user. I'll say user mod -a, -g, wheel, and DevOps. Ready, steady, go. So if I say ID now, what do you see here now? User is also part of wheel group. You see the wheel word? Forget about that number 10. Check that group name. What is the group name? So we have added the wheel group, or we have added the user in the wheel group. Is clear? If you want to see that, you can see the file etc. Which file? We have the group information group. So I'll say group, and in that we will see the wheel group. Where is the wheel group? Do I see wheel group? I need to go with that. Oh, I can see that. I can grep. I can filter it out. Wheel, yes. So you can see that the wheel group, in that DevOps user entry is there. In the wheel group, there is a DevOps user. That means DevOps user is under wheel group. That is what we are saying here. Okay. So now I have confirmed that the DevOps user got a superpower. Now let's go and see that really we got a superpower or not. Okay. Let's go and see that. So I will log out. I will log in as a DevOps user. So now I say, who am I? I am a DevOps user. I have logged in as a DevOps user. Now I will try to do something. By default, if I say, who am I will get my things, right? But if I say sudo who am I, so first time it will give you the lecture. How many of you people have seen the movie Superman? Oh, sorry, not Superman, Spider-Man. Many of them. Okay, so let's go and see. So it gives the, you see the last line, with great power comes great responsibility. Basically what it means, that you have a super user access. Be careful while typing the commands, because if you mistakenly type some wrong command, it will wipe out the system, because you have the superpower now. That is what it is saying. So I will give the password of which user now? Password for DevOps user. So I'll give the DevOps user password. So what it says the result? Who am I? Let's go and clear the screen again. Normal user, when I say who am I, what it is giving? DevOps. But when I say sudo who am I, what it is giving? So it is saying now you are root. What it is saying? Now you are root. But again, if I say who am I, it says now you are DevOps. So this is clear. Basically, when you use the word sudo, you will execute that command as a root user. Let's say another example. If I say user add, okay, and which user you want to add now? You have user 1, so we'll go with the user 02. User 02. So please pay attention on the screen because it's important. User add, user 02, enter. What happens? What it says? What is the error it is giving? Permission denied, because you are a normal user. But same command, if I use with the sudo, done. It will add the user without any question, because you are executing as a super user. You are executing the same command as a super user. So when you use the word sudo, that command is executed as a root user. Normal user don't have permission to add the users. Okay, that's why it is not allowing you to add the user. Normal user have very big restrictions. Okay, so normal user cannot do many things in the system. It can do the necessary things, but it cannot do something more than that is expected. So you cannot do that. Is clear? So when you use the word sudo, you are executing it as a root user. Is clear? Okay, I'll go out. I'll log in as a user 0. Yes. Any command you can run as a root. That is what is the meaning of that. It is not restricted to user add. You can do anything with that. Whatever a root can do, you can do all the things with the sudo. Okay. So it is not only restricted for user add. Many things like installation of package, modifying some files. You can do that. Normal user don't have access to install the package and all the stuff. Okay, so I'll go here. I'll go with the user 01. Now who am I? Sorry, who am I? Who am I now? User 01. Okay. Now what? I'll use sudo user add and user 04. Again, it will give that, hey, give me all these things. So I'll give the password of user 01. Now what it says? Okay, I will clear the screen and I will show you again. We'll go with that. What it says, message. So user 01 is not a sudo file. That means user 01 doesn't have sudo permissions. Which user has sudo permissions? DevOps. Only DevOps user. Why? If I check, if I say user 01, he is not in the wheel group. But if I say DevOps user, he's in the wheel group. This is clear? So whoever is in the wheel group, he will be a sudo access. Who will not in the wheel group, he doesn't have the sudo access. This is clear? Any other question here from online, from class? So for normal users, there are a lot of restrictions. Example, he cannot create user, He cannot reset password of other users. He cannot install the package. A lot of restrictions are there for normal users. Sudo users can do, using sudo, you can do all these things. Or with the root login, you can do all these things. But in real time, nobody will share you the root password. You have to always type with the sudo do this, sudo do that, sudo hey do this, something like that. Okay. So always you will work with the sudo level thing. You will never work with the root login in real time. So what I will suggest, when you are working, you will also maintain the same thing. That means create a user with the sudo access and always work with the normal user. Don't always work with the root user, which is a very wrong practice. It's very wrong practice. So you have to always work with the normal user, unless and until you need a root privileges. If you need a root access, use a sudo. Use sudo. This clear? In real time also, you will do the same thing. You will do the same thing. Fine. Any question at this moment?
You can add anyone, but you can add anything.
Okay, any other question? Good. So, pardon? Normal user you want to use because you don't want to create disturbance in the system. You want to give the restricted access to the user. If everybody is doing everything, let's say, for example, you go into the bank. You go in the bank and say that I am now manager of this bank. What will happen? And then something will happen in the system because you don't know the process, you don't know the procedures, you don't know anything. You start working with the bank manager, then there is a problem because we are the normal user in the bank. So as a DevOps engineer, you are getting the special training to work as a administrator user. So you know what are the good things, what are not good things, and how to avoid not good things. Right? So that is why sudo is a user with admin privileges. Okay, some questions online, I believe. So let's go and check that. Without adding to a wheel group, you want to make a question, Suman. Yes, you can do that. You can do that instead of wheel group. When they created a Red Hat, they have decided that whoever in the wheel group should have the superuser privileges. But if you don't want that, if no problem, right? Pardon? Just give any name, no problem. Not will, you can name any name, but that should be in the sudo. Let's say you don't want wheel group. So what you will do? You'll say vi sudo. Then you will search for wheel. You go to that place. You will create another user, and I will say that hey, I will put that line as a hash, and give any name to this group. What name you want to give? What name you want to give? Hmm? Batch name? Batch 14? Okay, no problem. Batch 14. Give that name. Then add that group. So you'll say group add, then what? Batch 14, and add the user in the batch 14. So user mod -a-g batch 14, and which user? User DevOps user. So that becomes the, if I say ID DevOps, done. You can give any name, it doesn't matter there, right? Only it should be available in the sudo file. If the group is available in sudo file, we are comfortable with that, no problem. So that entry should be in the sudo file. So this clear, right? So this is how you can give any name, you can work with that. So I'll revert it back. I will go with the worldwide standard. I will not create my own standard because then it will create a problem. Okay, I'll go with that wheel. Group delete, batch, done. So I have reverted back everything. If I say ID DevOps, again he will back to the wheel and everything is normal. So this clear? So you can give literally any group name, but by default, many things are happen by default. So it is a wheel group, but you can give any group there. Okay, now how to go with the groups? Very easy. You will say group add. Just now you said which group you want to add? Sales, group add marketing, then say group add finance, and so on. If you say cat etc group, you will see last 3 lines. We added the new groups: sales, marketing, finance, and so on. Simple. Pardon? Yes, we are doing with the root user. If you want to do with the, pardon? Yes. Okay. So you have this now 3 different groups. Sales group. Now I want to add user 02 in the marketing group. So what I will say? User mod -a-g. Which group? Which marketing MKT and user 02. So user is there, ID user 02. You see that he's in the marketing. You want another group. Which group? Finance. No problem. You want to add another group. No problem. Which group you want to add? So like this, you can keep on adding the user in many groups. No problem. Okay. Now suppose you don't like that marketing group, MKT. I'm not sure what is that MKT. So I want to rename that group. So I'll say group mod. Then new name. What is the new name? Marketing. And the old name, MKT. So you are renaming the group. Enter. If I say ID, you see that previously it was MKT. Now it is marketing. I have changed. I renamed the group. I have renamed the group. Now I want to delete the group. Simple. What I will say? Yes, group del, which you want to delete, marketing, sales, finance, done. Deleting the group, right? So this is how you'll work with the group. Creating groups, adding user in the group, renaming the group, modifying and deleting the group. So this is the task, you will do that. So you are playing with the system, creating users, modifying users, these and that and other stuff. Okay. Okay, so this is all about is the user management, playing with the users, creating the users and so on. So these are the commands are important. So I'll request that go home and do the practice. These are the files which are important: password file, shadow file, and group files. And you will work along with that. And you can nicely work with that. So homework: create user Obama, create group US, add user Obama in US. Give Obama sudo access. So this is the task you have to do as a homework. So create a user, create a group, add a user, go with that, then switch to the user Obama. Run the command ls-l/root, and second command is sudo ls-l/root. Note down the result. So you have to run two commands. One is with okay, so get so this is clear. So this is all about the user management, working with the user, creating users, modifying users, deleting users, creating group, modifying group, deleting groups, manipulating with this, all the stuff, switching user, right? All these activities are in the part of user management, and see, you'll see that, right? So by heart, these three files, etc password file, etc shadow file, and etc group file. You need to understand these files very well, because these are the key files for user administration. Okay. So that's all for the today. The members who join new, please wait, or the people who join new on the online, I will request that go to the YouTube channel. There is a video called as a DevOps introduction available there. Now I see that. I say, so go for Nourish ID DevOps. There is a introduction given. It is, I believe, 15 to 20 minutes introduction. So go with the first video, DevOps introduction. Okay. So you will be able to see all the details and understanding why we are going for the DevOps, what is the role of DevOps, and what we can do that in the DevOps. So you will see that there is a demo. So it needs 15 to 20 minutes of demo or something, right? So it's a 15 to 20 minutes demo. So please go through that. It is explain all the necessary items in the DevOps, why we have DevOps, what it does and everything. And then we are going to follow that activity with our things. Okay. So I'm not going to play this video right now, just for your help, that what we are able to go with that. Okay. So any questions, anything you want to bring it up? Any last question you want to bring it up? Do you want any other files other than these three files? Do we any other file? Means what? I didn't get your question, Sumant. So can you repeat your question, Sumant? Yes, please. That you can learn by yourself, no problem. It's a very, very simple thing. So like when you go in Windows, what do you do? How to see the file? You'll say dir. In the Windows, it is a dir. In Linux, it is a ls or ls-l. ls-l. Pardon? Of course, if you don't know Windows, then how you'll do all these things? Then you have to learn something on that. Okay, there is one question. Do we have any other file other than those three files like shadow? Yes, there are some other files, but I will say these are the key files and the important files. Other files are auxiliary files. You don't need to know much on that, because in real time you're not going to touch all those files. Yeah, there are some files like user defaults, and settings and those stuff. But we are not going to touch that files because those may not be interfering with our stuff. And whatever is important for DevOps, what is important for Linux, those topics we are going to touch here, right? So everything important, definitely we will touch base on those areas. Okay. So my request is, if you have a little knowledge on Windows or something, so start learning Windows also, right? So we will, because we will go and compare Windows and Linux all the time. I am not sure, sir, right? I am not good at Windows, so I am not sure from where you can learn Windows, right? So please figure out or check with our team. Somebody is giving training. You can check them, right? So I'm not sure from where you can get the Windows training. How to open? Which command prompt? This one? You have to learn that. I cannot go that much basics, right? But for time being, I can say you go to the start, run and type CMD. That's all. You are that. But right, you have to learn that. If you are going with that basics, then we will never able to complete our DevOps in 45 days. So I'll request, my humble request is that please go with the basics of Windows. Try to understand what to do in the Windows. Otherwise, it's very difficult for me to complete our session in 45 days because we have very, very vast syllabus. And we have to go with that in 45 days, right? So my humble request, please check for your Windows training or other training there. But whatever is 100% needed for DevOps, we are going to cover here, no problem. Okay, so any other question? Last question from online members? Okay, so if no questions, then we'll stop here. So thanks for all your time and patience. So we will see you on Monday at same time, right? So my request is please join back on Monday at the same time. So till time, please practice this because you will get sufficient time to learn, install and go. If you have any problem or any difficulty,